I guess we pulled over at the wrong payphone. And next thing I know, I'm getting shot at, and I'm running and jumping inside of a car. I got out the year of 9/11. That's the year I got out of the Navy.
Mad.
I found myself at Port Authority, and that's where I slept most of the time, was at Port Authority train station in New York City. I produced Usher, Nicki Minaj, Little Freak, Frank Ocean Pyramids, Jennifer Lopez, Pitbull on the Floor, Rambo, Last Blood, which did 95 million in the box office, by the way. Took me from producer that everybody thinks they know, or he's doing a few things, to he's an A-list producer.
Elijah Long, welcome to PPF, Past, Present,
Thank
Future. You're very welcome. Much appreciated for your time today.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Please, if you can, give me a short introduction to who you are and what you do at the moment.
Who I am and what I do. I'm Elijah Long. I am a film producer, writer, former actor, and a father. That's pretty much who I am. Producing is what I do. I've produced films, TV shows, music videos, and yeah.
Okay, very nice.
That's who I am.
So, born in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of starting at the beginning, I like to go a little bit before the beginning.
Okay.
So if you could just tell me a little bit about your parents.
A little bit about my parents. My father is from Alabama. My mother is from Chicago, born and raised. My father migrated to Chicago when he got a job at Ford Motor Company. And that was kind of cool at that time because Ford was the go-to job. That was back when jobs weren't as plentiful as they can be now. But Ford Motor Company was like, if you got a job here during that time, you were at the elite status. So he moved from Alabama, went to Chicago, met my mom, put me in the oven, and
Nice.
The rest is kind of history.
Now, your dad has got some quite, impressive. He's done some impressive things. Please run me through a few of these things, man.
You know what? I've been trying. My father gave me a saying when I was about 13 years old. And this is right around the time your kids' feet start to grow and you start to, look a little awkward and whatnot. And my father wore an 8.5 shoe. I want to say at 14, I was probably already at a 10. Right. So with that being said, he used to say, boy, when you feel my shoes, I know you'll be all right. I'm like, I'm a size 10. What are you talking about? But at that age, I didn't know what he meant. But now when it comes to feeling my father's shoes, the man has a street named after him. The man has a building named after him. He's helped so many people. If my father threw a party tomorrow, packed, and that's just how many people love him. And so I'm still trying to fill those shoes, when it comes to the old man.
To get a street named after you. Was there something specific he did, or was it an accumulation of a different?
It was accumulation of a lot of different things. My father has been the Park District Commissioner. He's been the City Commissioner. He has been the what was the award? He got commission. Okay, my father got Commission of the Year. That was the first time a black man has ever gotten that award in the state of Illinois. So it's been a culmination of him just lending his time, his energy, football coach. Like it's just so many different things. So it's been a lifetime of watching my father elevate. So
would you say him telling you about filling his shoes? They say pressure makes diamonds, but it also crushes some things. Is that a big driving force for you? Filling those shoes?
You know what? Filling his shoes isn't a driving force for me. Making him proud and making the next generation better is more so of a driving force. I just really believe that wherever your parents left off, you should be picking up. And I feel like I've been carrying the torch pretty well myself. So I never walked around with a burden at all. Yeah.
Got you. So you were born and raised in Chicago, right?
Born and raised in Chicago.
Now, when people think of Chicago nowadays, because of music, especially, it has some quite, how do you say? I want to say interesting. We know what the most people know Chicago for,
right.
Describe to me the environment, because of course with every city you've got good and bad places, you've got medium places.
Of course.
Describe your environment growing up as a child.
Let me see. If I'm being completely honest, my childhood was amazing. It was amazing because I had the contrast. I grew up in the city, but then we moved to the suburbs. But we moved to the suburbs when the suburbs were starting to change. So you had that evolution of that in-between phase. So I was there during the whole time. However, when I go to the south side of Chicago and I'm trying to flirt with girls, and you start to see how the other side lives, and you see it's a lot more violent on the south side, in the wild hundreds is what they call them. And that shit was really fucking wild. I remember one time I'm dating myself so crazy. Back when you used to have pagers, me and all of my friends, we literally got pages from girls at all the same time. And so we go to the payphone. I got the brand new Jordans on. I got the red and black outfit on. Back then, colors were really big. Red and black means one gang. Blue and black means another gang. And I guess we pulled over at the wrong payphone. And next thing I know, I'm getting shot at, and I'm running and jumping inside of a car. And just in that moment, I realized, I said, damn, this could have went a whole lot different. And so it made me more aware of my surroundings, and that's what I was more knowledgeable about at that time. Now that I knew what the other side was like, okay, you got to put up your guard a little bit more. So I was a little bit more protective of where I spread myself too thin.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Something like that's quite traumatic. I mean, is it something that kind of I'm assuming it's something that stayed with you, probably until today.
Yeah.
So you ended up. What were you like in school? What was education
I was horrible
like
in
for you?
school.
Okay.
I was horrible in school, like any other artist. But the thing about the time that I grew up in, it was not a mental health focused. It was like, you got a badass kid. You know what I mean? He won't sit still. Yeah. He's talking in class. He's doing. But at that time, they didn't know that I could have been a creative, which I ended up being.
Of course.
So minuscule things, they bored me. So with that being said, it was easy for them to just dismiss it as, that's a bad kid. He's a bad kid. Come get him. Put him in detention. Now, it's like mental health. It's, okay, this kid may be a creative. Oh, he learns different than the rest of the kids. It's a little bit more open-minded.
Times have changed, man.
Times has definitely changed. Yeah.
Like in every way. But I think, as you said, even when I was in school, creative kids or kind of entrepreneurial kids or, teachers didn't really pay much attention kind of effort or anything like that.
Yeah.
And even I think, depending on how far you go back, even parents. So I've spoken to different people who said that they were horrible in school, but were earning good money, doing whatever they were doing, legal, illegal. But parents didn't encourage it. They didn't, I don't know, they just, it was like alien to people. Now, if you've got a kid earning money at, 13, 14, you say, okay, you encourage the kid absolutely. And you help the kid, but it's not been like that for a long time at all.
At all. But you know what? A lot of the things that we were doing in our ventures back in the day, they weren't grossing what these kids are grossing. And I know 13-year-old kids that are grossing $13 million a year. It's like, what the is this? So it's a different era, man. It's a different era.
So at that time, high school, towards the end of high school, what did you want to do? What were you thinking about going into?
Well, I wouldn't say towards the end of high school. I would say from the beginning to about my junior year in high school, which is your third year in high school, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to the league. Okay. I was an athlete through and through. I played baseball and I played football at the same time. And I just knew that I was going to be in the NFL. And, that didn't happen. I didn't get a scholarship how I thought I was going to get a scholarship. And I knew I didn't want to go to college if it wasn't for athletics. And so I said to myself, waste time in college or go to the Navy. Get out of here, see the world, do something different. I chose the Navy, and that was one of my best decisions.
So before getting onto the Navy, where I'm from, you have kids who want to be a football player, English football, and at some point.
Well, football in America,
exactly.
Soccer is what,
We say American football, we say football, but
exactly.
Tomatoes.
Tomato.
When that day comes, when they don't get the call up or they get rejected or dropped from a club, it is a devastating blow. Yeah. How was it for you? I mean, as you said, you were an athlete through and through, and there was no way you weren't getting it.
Yeah.
How was that for you at that time?
It was devastating because it's something I really wanted. But at the same time, I started having affinities for other things. I started liking other things. That's when I really started to pick up on my creativity and things that I was good at. I started enjoying movies a lot more. I didn't know why, but I was always a good writer. I was always a good writer. And I used to tell myself as a kid when I used to write short stories, and I would literally say, damn, I can do this shit. If all else fails, I can write some shit, So I started getting, having affinities for other things. And it just started materializing as I got a little bit older.
Would you say that you're someone who kind of bounces back quite easily? Have you always been that way?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say bounce back easy. So I would say I'm a type of person that will always bounce back.
Got you.
That might take me developing, because whenever I am put in a position to have to bounce back, I have to analyze what put me in that position. So I don't just throw the car in the car in the car wash and then drive it back out. I'm like, let me fix under the hood a little bit and see what's going on here to make sure that, I don't get thrown into that ditch again, So that's self-improvement. I'm really, really big on self-improvement. That's something I try to do on a daily.
So you joined the military at what age?
18. I just turned 18.
Were a lot of kids doing it? Or were you one of the only ones?
No, there was a few people that I knew that were going into the military. It wasn't the Navy though; it was the Army.
Got you. Okay.
I didn't want to go in the Army because that's the first people that get put on the front line. Some crazy stuff happens. And coincidentally enough, I'm glad I was thinking like that because I got out the year of 9/11. That's the year I got out of the Navy.
Mad.
And that's the same year Aaliyah died. It was just a crazy year. And so I literally got out of the Navy the year Aaliyah died, and then 9/11 happened right after that.
I mean, if you would have stayed in one more year,
who knows where I would have been, But one thing that people don't know, we're at war, at least in America, even when they don't say you're at war. There's things going on that ocean that you have no idea what's happening. I still to this day can't speak about it, but I've seen some things. Yeah.
So from what you can speak about, how was that experience? How many years were you in there?
I was in the Navy 3 years.
Okay, and how was that experience for you?
It was eye-opening. The Navy was incredible in a lot of ways. The Navy taught me discipline. The Navy taught me structure when I didn't have structure. I was a very break the rules kind of type person, especially as a kid. And I used to live by, there's a loophole in everything. So I was always trying to find a back door to how I can get in without putting in the work. Later on in life, I had to realize that it doesn't work like that. But there's no shortcuts. But it taught me. It taught me how to position myself for success in a lot of ways, because we sit here and we fold shirts and we have this crazy crease in the shirts. And it's like, why are you making me do this every day? And it's the simple metaphor of when you wake up in the morning, make your bed. Why am I making your bed? Because if you get up and you make your bed every day, That means you might read every day. You might, write that book that you've been trying to write every day. You might consistently do the things that'll help you elevate on a daily basis. And it starts with making your bed. And so I kind of took that from it. At that particular time, I was a little belligerent. Well, I'm going to say a little bit. I was a lot of belligerent. And so, I kind of took that and ran with it. So, I like to use the terminology. I took off the meat and I spit off the bones, because there's a lot of bullshit in the Navy as well.
Of course, yeah.
But, I took off the good parts and kept it with me.
So off camera, you said that part of the reason you did join the military or the Navy was actually to be in a specific area.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Now, how did that dream come about? Because you said that you realized that you started to like really enjoy and take in movies. Yeah. You always enjoyed writing, or at some point you started to enjoy writing. Yeah. So how did that thought process come about to do that?
Well, going back, I did join the Navy to get to the West Coast. I just knew I didn't want to be anywhere cold. So when I actually joined the Navy, that's the first time I ever took a flight.
Mad.
The first time I took an airplane. So got to the West Coast. But going back to high school, like I told you earlier, I started liking movies. I started loving entertainment. I was so focused on, every line a rapper would say, what does this mean? And the visuals that it would paint in your mind. And so I started falling in love with just visuals, even photographs. I started falling in love with photography. So there was a lot of things that I had a liking to, but I didn't know how to execute it at that time. I didn't have the money to move. I said, okay, the Navy's gonna be perfect for me. So I did get to the other side of the world. I was stationed in San Diego, and it was the best time of my life. It was the best time of my life. So I was really appreciative of the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after that, at some point you moved to New York.
Directly after.
Directly. So you went from being in the Navy.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's as you said, that's the first time you've been living away.
Yeah.
And you didn't think, okay, let me go home. Let me just kind of be around my people. You said, no, I want to go somewhere else. What was that? What led you to New York?
Well, when I got out of the Navy, at that particular time, entertainment was split down the middle. Half the shows shot in New York, half the shows shot in LA. It's not like that anymore. So New York was one of the places where you can go hit your feet to the pavement and really like get yourself prepared for a LA market, because LA is the best of the best. Yeah. When I was acting, I would be in audition rooms with people I was seeing on TV on a weekly. And Jaleel White, I'm in there with people with the guy to play Urkel. Yeah. I'm in there with people that I'm seeing on TV on a daily basis. Like, oh shit, I'm really in the room, Yeah. So I went to New York first because it was kind of like a crash course, but it was a rough crash course. But everything didn't go as planned when I went to New York. So how I got to New York was I was dating a girl in Chicago at the particular time. She got a job at United Airlines, I want to say, and they stationed her in Jersey. So they put her in Jersey. 3 days before we were supposed to leave, her brother got gunned down. So I said to myself, January 9th, I'll never forget it. I said to myself, do I go or do I just wait till the time is right? Ticket was booked. Everything was, I'm just going to get on a plane. The only thing I didn't have was a place to stay. So when I got off the plane, it kind of hit you at that moment that this is the first time in New York. It's fucking January.
Cold as hell.
And you don't got a fucking place to stay in New York City. And it dawned on me. I cried a little bit because I was only 21, 22 years old, something like that. First time in New York City, never been out of a structured environment to the point to where I'm on my own. Even in the Navy, I wasn't on my own. They provided meals, they provided a bed.
I mean, that is the biggest structure. You went from actually, you know, being actually in a completely structured environment.
Absolutely.
As opposed to maybe going to university.
Absolutely.
Which is okay, there's a structure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
You know, this is...
You know, you got a house over your head.
Exactly.
You know, a roof over your head.
Exactly.
You know,
man,
here,
that is a big shock.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
here,
very big shock.
No help. Didn't know anybody. Remember, social media wasn't social media then. This was 2000.
Yeah.
You know, 2001.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, 2002.
Yeah, because if you
9/11,
9/11, so yeah, it must have been about 02.
So it was 2002. Moved there. 9/11 has happened. New York is still kind of crazy. I was still able to go down to the 9/11 site, see what was going on. The rubble was still there. It's like this shit really happened, you know? It's like with shit we watched on TV, I'm literally here. And so it kind of put me in a perspective of what's next. So I went to Jersey City. I think it was a bus station. They used to have those little lockers to where you put the quarter in, twist it, and then you take the key out. So I took like 6 of those. I stuffed all my shit in all of these things, and I literally just went and explored the city. I found myself at Port Authority, and that's where I slept most of the time, was at Port Authority train station in New York City. So I did that for about 6 months. And this was the time that I learned that I can rap.
Okay.
That's when I learned that I can do music. How I was making money, they used to have this newspaper called Backstage. Backstage would tell you all the productions that are going on around the city, whether it's a play or a music video. Angie Martinez was doing a music video, and it was called Dim Things. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't. I know
You gotta move them things.
Know that one, no.
Dim Things. It's crazy. It's a crazy song. And anyway, Jadakiss and the Lox were on that record. So in between takes, you know, we're extras on the set. You know, we're just crowd, you know, in the background. And so the extras on the set, a lot of them were aspiring rappers. So in New York was a real hip hop culture, bro. It's where it came from. And so the guys, they got in a cipher. And so this was the first time that my little rhymes that I had been writing in the corner, I'm like, all right, let me test this shit out, man. You know, so I started feeling myself, and I tested it out. And Jadakiss wasn't far. And he leaned over when we were about to start shooting, and he said, "You nice, my man." You know what I'm saying? And I said, "Word?" He said, "Yo, you had some bars." I was like, "Say less."
Coming from Jada, that's big, you know.
Say less. Big. You know, I don't know what I said or what I was rapping about, but at that moment, he gave me the inspiration to even attempt to do music. And so that kind of took my path, and it split it, because I knew I wanted to do movies. I knew I wanted to be an actor. But at the same time, I'm like, see what's up with this music shit. You know, at that time, you know, you had the DMXs, you know, Eminem was acting and rapping, you know, everybody, Aaliyah was doing her thing, you know, so it was the age of the multi-talented, you know, you're in movies and music. So I'm like, yo, this could only help me, you know, if I became good. And so that's what I focused on.
So at that point, music became more of a focus.
It became more of a focus because you're in New York City.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not rapping here, like, you know, where you rapping? And so, you know what's crazy?
God.
Being as humble as possible, some of my music still stands up.
Mad. Okay. Nice.
And you know what? I want to say about 4 months ago, I opened up an old hard drive and I just started listening.
Yeah.
You actually start to see how your younger self is pretty prophetic. And there was some things that I prophesied in my own life.
Yeah, sorry, go on. So prophetic.
Yeah, no, I just started seeing how I prophesied certain things in my own life. You know, it's a certain level of growth that I can see in myself, but I listened to the old music and I knew exactly where I was at that time. So it was refreshing.
Yeah. What was the genre? If you had to pin it to a genre, what would you say?
You know what? I would probably pin it to a person.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't believe it, but I'm 43.
Okay, my dad.
A lot of people don't believe that. And when I was rapping 20 years ago, I was Drake before that type of style was accepted.
Okay. So a melodic, somewhat melodic. Also, there's hard rap because he has done some hard rap, and he can
But
rap.
his general style is
more
very melodic, female driven. That whole piece.
Yeah. So kind of like an R&B-ish. I know you're pinning it to a person and not a thing, but
I wouldn't say R&B-ish, but I guess I would have to cross-pollinate a couple of artists. So I would say, I went into the lyrics like a Kendrick, but I made sure my melodies were where they needed to be, like a Drake. And so I know I'm kind of comparing two of the most amazing rappers of this time right now.
But man,
and I'm by no means saying that that's who I was. However, if I had to pinpoint a style type, that's who it would be. I would be the AI version of a Kendrick and a Drake. That would be me.
Fair. A hybrid. A nice little hybrid of
a little hybrid.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
For sure.
So at some point, I guess you started going into movies again in New York, or I believe it was music videos.
Well, I was in music videos when I was in New York. However, I didn't tap into that scene again until I went to LA.
Okay.
So I did get a record label interested in me and signed me. I won't say their name on camera, but I did get a record label that signed me. I started writing for some very prominent artists. I had a couple musical placements. That was cool. And I built relationships. I blew a lot of money. I got money, got broke again, got money, got broke again, and that was kind of like the repetitiveness of being immature. Large sums of money at one time and you're gonna fuck it off every once in a while. So I didn't get back into the music videos or the music scene until I got back to LA. Well, I'm not going to say back to LA. When I got to LA is when I got back into the music scene, but on the video side aspect of it. Because when I was in New York, it was strictly the music, strictly trying to get a label to sign me, that type of deal. And those relationships turned into visual relationships later. So at that particular time, it was all about the music. But later on, those same record labels, now I'm producing their music videos. So it just came full circle when it came to that.
And so what led to the move from New York to LA?
A couple of things. I had a place to stay in Los Angeles. My brother Amp was moving to LA as well. And it was my brother that I actually met in the Navy. And, we've always looked out for each other. So we actually moved together when we got to LA. And he was a model. He was in all kind of magazines, Echo, Unlimited, and just all this stuff. And so you had two creatives in one household, and it was just a bubble of creativity. So moved there, had somebody to build with, and just hit the ground running. I was still doing music at that particular time, but I started dabbling a lot more into the movies. I started dating this girl named Tori, and she was the daughter of this guy named Tim Reed. Tim Reed was a pretty famous actor in the TV world back in the 80s and 90s. And he asked me to be in one of his films. And I starred in one of his films. And that kind of took off the acting bug a little bit. That really kind of gave me some notoriety on camera.
So that was the acting. How long into your stay in LA did you start producing music videos?
So first came the acting. I had a full stint of the acting. I'm a 2-time Emmy nominated actor as well. So I did a show called Clean House. I was on Lie to Me with Tim Roth and Mekhi Phifer. I was on another show called House with House MD, with Hugh Laurie. It's so many different TV shows. So before I'd stepped into the behind the scenes aspect of entertainment, I had a love for in front of the camera. But when I started getting notoriety, when I started getting a little bit more attention, I realized that I didn't like the fame. And that's one of the things that I kind of shied away from. Like even now, my publicist will say, why don't you post? Why don't you do more facing you kind of selfie, let people know who you are? But I'm like, I care about it, but I don't really care about it, you know?
So would you say then, because it's easy to assume that someone who wants to be an actor wants to be famous?
No, that's complete opposite.
That's the opposite.
Complete opposite.
So for you, it is more about the art of it.
It's
It's
definitely
the
about the art.
creativity, it's the art, it's the expression, it's that kind of stuff.
I thought I wanted the fame, but once you get it, it's like, I'm okay. Because I don't like the fake calls you get. I don't like the sending you messages maybe a week before they actually ask you for something. It's too much. It's too much face. I like going to the grocery store, man.
Yeah.
I like going to the grocery store, man. I like doing regular shit. Yeah. And so sometimes if you reach too large of a level of fame, you can't be you anymore. You're always on the defense when you go out. And I don't want to live like that.
And I guess, I mean, LA is the epitome of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been, so maybe I shouldn't speak about somewhere I've never seen, but I've heard about the fakeness and the kind of, I don't know, it's just, from what I've heard, it's a lot about using. It's a lot of, it's like a, I don't know, fake. That's the best way I can describe it. From what I've heard, again, I could be wrong, but.
I wouldn't say fake, I would say facade.
Okay.
That's how I would explain it. Because everyone, okay, imagine this. You're a rapper. You're on stage. You're performing. You're trying to hype the crowd up, and everybody's just looking at you like this. Why are they looking at you like this? Because they all think that they should be on the stage too. So it's like trying to impress people that think that they should be you. You know, so it gets to a point to where you say, what do you do? Oh, I'm an actress. Sweetie, everybody's an actress. What do you do during the day? How do you pay your bills? You know, that's really the question. It's like, oh, I'm a waiter. It's like, okay, cool. All of us are. So what are you talking about? So it's, you know, then you start looking at the girls who are driving hot cars, saying they're actresses and models, but you've never seen them on shit. And it's like, model, huh? Yeah, we got it. You know, so it's more of a facade. Yeah.
So at some point, you produced with Butch Kaplan.
Butch Kaplan.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what was that experience like?
Man, I got the opportunity of a lifetime to work with Jamie Foxx, bro. I had been, I'm not gonna say friends with Jamie, but I had been an associate of Jamie. He knew who I was. I was invited to the parties, or it wasn't a problem if I was there. And so, you know, I got cool enough with him too, where I would be in his presence sometime. And went to his house one night. He was writing a film. There was like but Jamie, he was writing in a very interesting way. He was writing a movie the same way that you would record an album. So you're in there singing in the booth, all your friends is in there, everybody hanging out, girls over here, everybody talking shit while you're recording. You can't write a movie like that. And so he would have the script on a big screen, and then the writer PA, he was typing what Jamie was telling him to type. Right. And so he would type something, and then he'd say, what y'all think about that? And everybody's just trying to please Jamie Foxx. So they're going, oh, it's great. And I was just sitting in the corner like... And so I asked a question after watching maybe about 20 minutes of this. I asked a question, and I said, Jamie, he said, yeah, what's up? I said, this is a journey-like film, right? Like they go on a road trip. He says, yeah. I said, well, you guys are on page 65, and they haven't gone on the journey yet. And he was like, yeah. I said, how long is the movie? He said, it's probably about 90 minutes. So I said, a minute equals a page. If you already on page 60 and you only got 90 pages, you only got 30 pages to wrap up the whole movie. And so he sat back and he looked at me. He cleared everybody out the studio. And he said, all right, tell me what you think. And I just broke down the whole script. From that point on, he trusted me enough to help him come on board and assist in writing the script. And I moved in with Jamie, I want to say for about 4 months. I lived in one of his guest bedrooms. And I mean, you working with Jamie Foxx every day. This man will jump in the studio and sing, hop in front of the piano, play the piano. Next thing you know, he's telling you stories about when him and Ray Charles and Muhammad Ali. It's just like, bro, who are you? How are you this talented? And so just working with him I thought I was just gonna write the script. And after I wrote the script, I'm like, man, well, good luck, Jamie. You know, he's like, wait, where you going? I'm like, the script's done. What are we doing? Bro, we about to produce this. We go into production in 2 months. I'm like, really? I'm like, what you want me to do? So I want you to produce it. I'm like, yo, you know, so I get on a producing team of nothing but superstar producers, and Butch Kaplan was one of them. Butch Kaplan produced The Notebook. The man produced Belly. You know, it's like the spectrum of work is just it's insane. And so he taught me something on that set about pre-production and not being prepared for the actual production. He taught me, he said, make a plan in pre-production and shoot the plan in principal production. Don't veer away from the plan. That'll cost you time and that'll cost you money. On a film set is the one place I would actually say, literally in life, time is money. If I go over these 8 hours, that means I have to pay this crew time and a half. You can't.
And I mean, how many people are on a set of?
Yeah, exactly. You know, the 200 people. You know, now I got to pay everybody a time and a half. So now I just lost a huge chunk of my budget because I didn't shoot the plan. So
was that your first producing role?
No, All-Star Weekend was not my first producer role. However, All-Star Weekend was the production that put me on the map as Elijah's a producer. And I've worked with big artists before, but never on that magnitude. Me and Jamie, we, and I might give you this clip to use. Jamie is on text and he gets a text message from Robert Downey Jr., who agrees, while we're literally on camera, agrees to do the film. So we read the text message out loud. And Robert says, I'm gonna be there at this time. I'm gonna end at this time. You got the whole day. It's like Robert Downey Jr., just on the strength of a phone call, signs on to do your movie. Do you know how much that man cost? And so I said, wow. Next thing I know, Jeremy Piven signs on to the movie from Entourage. Gerard Butler signs on to the movie. Eva Longoria signs on to the movie. DJ Khaled signs on as a French Montana. I'm like, what is happening right now on my first production? And it went from being a fan to, now let's get to work. Yeah, I'm no longer a fan anymore. I'm working with these people. I have Eva Longoria calling me, telling me she wants to change words in the script. I'm having dialogue with her about, you know, then getting the green light from Jamie to, you know, rewrite certain things. It was mind blowing on levels you couldn't imagine, because you dream of getting to this part and this point in your life to where you're working with these level of stars, but you don't know when it's gonna happen. And when it's happening, you just got to be prepared. And working with Jamie prepared me for that next level.
So after that was, you worked on Rambo?
Not right after that.
Not right after, okay.
Not right after that. After that, there was a bunch of productions in between. I produced a lot of Ciroc commercials in 2019. In between that was a lot of the music videos as well. I produced Usher, Nicki Minaj, Little Freak, Frank Ocean Pyramids, Jennifer Lopez, Pitbull on the Floor. Like I was a part of some major videos. And that kind of prepared me to shoot things fast paced.
Yeah, because I guess the music video is
you're shooting it all in one day.
Yeah.
You know, that imagery lives forever, but you shot that in 11 hours, 16 hours, you know. So it teaches you how to shoot fast and make do with the budget that you have, you know. So
a producer's role, as you said, kind of off camera, is almost everything. Is there one specific or a few specific things that you kind of excel at, or that you feel that your strengths in the producing role?
I would say my strength in the producing world is that I can talk to people. I'm the producer on a producer team that not only puts it together, raises money, gets the actors, but when shit is hitting the fan, it's like, Elijah, can you go smooth that over? Can you go talk to Gerard and get him to, that's me. And I create a rapport with people to where I'm not gonna BS you, but at the same time, I'm gonna put a little honey over the shit that I'm feeding you, because I need you to fulfill what we need to do as far as the production aspect. But at the same time, I can deliver it in a way that's receptive, and I can speak your language. I'm pretty intuitive in that way. And so I would definitely say that I'm the producer that they call in to smooth things over when things may not be going perfect. Yeah.
So then Rambo.
That's the one that changed everything. Rambo 100% changed everything. Rambo Last Blood, which did $95 million in the box office, by the way. Rambo Last Blood took me from producer that everybody thinks they know, or he's doing a few things, to he's an A-list producer. Rambo took me from regular to A-list. Whenever you do box office numbers like that, whenever you work with a celebrity on the magnitude of Sylvester Stallone, it's another level, and it's another level of respect. That's the main thing. Rambo was another level of respect. It was, if you thought that was a fluke, let me solidify it. And we followed that with Tesla. I produced Tesla with Ethan Hawke. That was amazing. That opened Sundance Film Festival.
That's mad.
Rambo opened Cannes Film Festival. So this was 2019 and 2020 were magical years until COVID decided to show up. But it was a hell of a 2 years, 2-year run.
So when COVID did show up, having all of the success you had, of course, you had a lot of things in the pipeline.
Yeah, for
sure.
A
lot of good things coming.
Yeah.
COVID came.
Yeah.
And then everything went crazy.
Yeah. So I'll take you back to COVID. So COVID, everything was starting to slow down. Everybody's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. What is this virus? Why are we locked in that? We didn't know anything. And so with that being said, I had 3 films that were greenlit at the time. Money in the bank, investors ready to go. But the problem came when they shut down the movie theaters. It started to get real. So the investors started to get nervous, saying, look, listen, we made our contracts based upon the box office sales, the numbers, what's going on. We want our money back. We had done pay-or-play deals. Pay-or-play deals are deals that you do with actors. Regardless if the project happens or not, they get paid. Did those deals, they want their money back. I'm like, I'm not covering it, So basically my lawyer said, shut off the phone. If you can travel, travel. But there's nothing we could do. No one knows what's happening. This is an act of God. I get on Instagram. I'm scrolling. Everybody's either in Tulum or Dubai. Tulum looked like a COVID cocktail. So I'm like, I'm not going to Tulum. So I just went a completely opposite direction and went to Dubai. I booked a one-way ticket for a month. And I haven't looked back.
Amazing.
I haven't looked back, man. Dubai was very eye-opening. So yeah, for sure.
And so you land in Dubai, and what convinced you to stay? What are the reasons that you ended up staying?
Well, I have been coming to Dubai since 2017, 2018. And I was coming to party, having a good time. This time I came with a different agenda. I had been here a few times, so I kind of knew what it was like. Had some friends here. This time I decided to take a real estate tour. And let me check out, the land and see what this place is really about. See if I could potentially invest in some property or just what it could be. And my mind started opening the more I saw what they didn't have. Dubai, I like to call it, Dubai is like Back to the Future. You remember Back to the Future where he went back, Biff got the almanac and he went back and changed things. I come from Los Angeles. I have the entertainment almanac. And it's like I'm going back in time to a place that hasn't started its entertainment industry yet. So the knowledge that I can come with is knowledge that this region will 100% pay for and 100% appreciate. And it gives me, as a Black man, an opportunity to build on another land and get ownership. That takes everything to the next level. And so when I came here, realized that I can add value, at the same time grow my brand, it was a win-win situation.
So I feel like throughout your journey, networking has been quite important.
It's key.
Would you say that's like a very important
100%.
thing, right?
Relationships are everything. It's worth more than money.
What are the keys to networking as far as you're concerned?
Keys to networking is being organic. Keys to network is being able to be used. If you can't be used, you're useless. And a lot of people take being used in a negative way. I want you, if you meet me, use me. Using me can mutually be beneficial.
Win-win deals.
You
Deals
know?
that work for both parties. You know?
And so with that being said, just don't be useless. And I try to make sure that the people that I network with, I'm valuable. I try to make sure that I'm a man of my word and maintain an amazing reputation. And that's basically what not only networking, but developing relationships looks like. The main focus with relationships is you nurture the relationship before you need the relationship. Because a lot of people meet people and they get excited because they know this person can change their life, but they go right into what they need. What are you offering? I just met you. Why would I help you? There's a million people before you.
Exactly, right.
You know? So with that being said, I always come in a way that is, if you ever need anything from me, this is what I do. Let me know. I love to build with you. Exchange Instagrams, exchange numbers. Yo, let's go to coffee. Hey, let's grab a bite. Let's catch up. Oh, I saw you did this on your post. That's amazing. Continuously build that relationship. Hey, I'm going to this party. You want to come hang out? Invite people places. And when you do that, you organically build a relationship because people love to work with their friends. You know, especially when you know your friends are good at what they do. And I can trust my friends. The ones that I, trust. Other ones are acquaintances, but you can trust the people that you know. Like there's a director that I can always go to. His name is Taj. His Instagram is Taj versus Taj, and he's incredible. When I need something creative, like majority of those music videos that I did, he directed. And so he's just incredible for that. Then I have another director, Justin Janowitz, completely different style, but just as amazing. And so you build these relationships. So when you call, everybody Voltron's up and we can make some magic happen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, what came first, Vision Central or EOE?
EOE came before Vision Central.
Okay. So what is EOE?
Well, you know what? I'm lying. EOE and Vision Central kind of came at the same time. I came to Dubai in the first deal, the first 7-figure deal that I got from Dubai was for EOE. EOE is a entertainment festival that I wanted to bring to Dubai. Remember I said I wanted to come to a place where I can offer myself and be useful. I created an entertainment festival that would bring the best of the entertainment industry, from makeup to hair to editing to directing, bring all the best of the best. You know, like Masterclass online? Imagine Masterclass in person. But all of these people that you know their work. What if it's the sound composer from Gladiator? You know, what if it's the makeup artist from Avatar? teaching you how to perform on that level. This region would 100% go to that festival. And you create entertainment around learning. That's a win-win for everything, because I was unhappy that I couldn't hire as many locals on my movie Vision Central when we shot it here in Abu Dhabi, because the locals didn't possess the skills to be on a film set. They don't have a film industry, so they don't have the repetition in the work. So I had to hire outside. And I said, if I bring knowledge here, now they can self-sustain. They can produce their own movies. Now I'm giving jobs. I'm building their economy in the entertainment industry.
Exactly, and that is how you build an industry, right?
Exactly. And so I said, no one pays actors or talent to go to Cannes Film Festival. So let's create an environment that makes people want to come here. So it's mind blowing that they used to, have to pay talent to come to Dubai. It's like, bro, I'm paying you to leave your country that people are getting gunned down, robbed, shot, to come to beautiful Dubai. That is 100% safe. You're not going to get robbed for your watch. None of those problems. I got to pay you to come to this beautiful place. It's pointless. So I wanted to create something that would bring them here annually, to where it would create a network, because people don't realize Bollywood does way more in numbers than Hollywood. I don't know if people know that, but Bollywood, they've beat Hollywood in box office numbers, I want to say like 9 years in a row. Right. And so it's not necessarily per film, but the quantity of films that they put out annually is more than the US. So with that being said, this is closer to a bigger box office draw. This is why Shah Khan is so huge, So with that being said, Dubai is geographically closer to, I can pop into Italy. I can be in Egypt in 3 hours. I can be in Saudi in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Like, it's so close to so many different parts. It's the US that's sitting off to the side. So with that being said, I've become the bridge between America and Dubai when it comes to entertainment. There's not really many artists that come to Dubai that I don't know about, or I didn't consult the deal for them coming over here. So I want to say about in October, we'll have, when are you putting this out?
This will be out in a month and a half, around October time.
So that's good. So in in October, I'm bringing Taraji P. Henson to the region for the first time. If you don't know Taraji, What Men Want, all the Think Like a Man movies, Oscar nominated for Benjamin Button, 21 million followers on Instagram. Just, incredible. Emmy winning actress. She was the star of Empire. Never been to the region. Saw everything on Instagram. So, I put together the right connections. I got the government involved, and to get her out here to show her the land, show her what's out here, show her that the world of entertainment can be bigger than Hollywood. Make Hollywood come to us. So that's really the underlying goal, is to make Hollywood come to us and not have to ask to be included. I'm tired of that, asking to be included. No, when you're the talent, there's a writer's strike right now. The actors decided to stand in solidarity with the writers. So with that being said, you have a group of talent that want to be paid what they're worth. So you have the AI that's coming out. They're not getting paid for that. Residual, there's new streaming platforms, new ways to make money off of your content. They're not getting paid off of that. How actors live is the residuals. So if I don't write a script, the studio doesn't have a movie, they don't make their gross for the chairman for that year. It all starts with the talent. So think about it. What if I wrote Independence Day for Will Smith? They paid me $75,000 for that movie. All right. That movie made Will Smith a bona fide celebrity, a superstar. Now he can make his millions off the name Will Smith. I was just the writer. I don't really get any more money other than the residuals from that one. But I created the project that made Will Smith Will Smith. You know what I mean? So what if you're sitting at home broke in your 1-bedroom apartment and you're like, yeah, but I wrote Independence Day. That's not fair.
No.
You know? So it's a lot of things that has to change, you know, with how that works. And so I figure coming to Dubai, building a structure from the ground up the right way, because Hollywood was convoluted. It was a monopoly, you know, to a certain extent. And so with that being said, you know, you kind of had to get in where you fit in. You had to elevate with the times. When they would allow you to do certain things, that's when you got your opportunity. Or unfortunately, if there was a quota that needed to be hit, oh, you got to have a certain amount of black people in this, certain amount of Asians in this. Okay, I can slip in a quota. Now it's like, we're too talented for that. I'm going to go to another place. I'm going to build in another place, and I'm going to make you come to me. And so that's what Dubai is for me.
Dubai is that place.
It's a platform. Definitely it's the future. Dubai is the future.
100%. And it's empty. It's, especially in that industry. Yeah. And there's a lot of other industries that were empty 10, 15 years ago that are booming now.
Absolutely.
You know? So there's no reason why this wouldn't be it, you know?
Absolutely.
So I normally ask about keys to success, which I did ask you off camera. You're already, there's something in the works already about that. So please, if you could give me, a little info on that.
I'm doing a project that's called 7 Rules to 7 Figures. When you first think of that title, you automatically think money. But 7 figures is not only money, but it's the currency of all of the things that you learn as you mature. So I think a lot of the knowledge I have now is worth 7 figures. I think a lot of the experience that I have is worth 7 figures. When you sit down and you talk to a person like myself who has lived in certain different countries, who has been in the Navy, who has slept on the streets of New York, who has done a movie that is over 100 million in the box office. It's life experience that people pay for. So with that being said, there's so many rules that I broke that when I started following certain rules, these 7 certain rules specifically, that's when I started to make the journey to 7 figures. And that's what this project is called. It's literally called 7 Rules to 7 Figures from the Shah to Dubai, because I'm from Chicago and this is where I landed, because it's an evolution, you know, it's a progression, it's an escalation, you know, because if people don't know where you came from, your success doesn't mean as much 100%. To them. But when they see that wide spectrum from the Shah to Dubai, it's how the hell did he get there? I'm a little kid from the south side of Chicago, you know? How did he get there? These are the rules that I followed that took me to my success. Whatever your success is, that's your success. But these 7 rules will be a roadmap to how to get to the place that you're trying to go. And it's an audio visual book to where it gives you visuals from my real life. So I'm not just going to talk about working with Jamie Foxx. I'm going to show you on set with me, with Robert Downey Jr., with Jamie, as we're working, as I'm telling you when I started discovering these 7 rules. And so with different times in my life, different periods of my life, this is what I'm going to allow myself to put into the world to help people not run into the same potholes and same mistakes that I ran into. So if I can give some piece of advice, some piece of knowledge that people can actually walk away with, that's tangible, that you can listen back to years later or a couple months later when you need a refresh, you know, because the inner spirit, the mind is just like the body. If you don't continuously work the body, you get flabby, you get loose, you get out of breath. If you don't continuously work the mind, it gets slow, it's not as sharp, and you're not on your A game. And so I'm giving this as a piece of me to help people stay on their A game, because I needed it, you know.
Yeah. Amazing. Elijah, thank you so much for your time. Brilliant episode, really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.